my name is Mrs. Gibson, and today we're going to be talking about GPS. So on your desk, you will find a paper that looks like this, a little sheet that's your entry task, and I would like you to take a pencil and take a minute and fill out the information. There's no wrong answers. This is just for my benefit to see what you know now and judge what you have learned from my lesson to help me learn how to teach better and see where you are. So on your paper, look at it, you'll see it says, what do the letters GPS stand for? And then, what do I know now about GPS? So most of us nowadays have a GPS maybe in our car, on our phone, things like that. So you might know a little bit about GPS already. Tell me just a little bit about what you know. Okay, take a minute to fill out your paper, please, and then I'll collect them. Okay, thank you. Good job. All right. Well, our objective today is to learn about the history of GPS, how it started, what the original purpose was, and our lesson will span a few days here. We'll learn on other days about the uses of GPS, how it works, and then we're going to have a little fun doing a GPS hunt around the school. Okay, I'm going to pass out another paper now, and this will be your word bank. So, as part of our lesson, we want to make sure that we learn vocabulary related to GPS. So, if you look at the paper I just handed you, word bank for GPS learning. We have 3 columns. Okay, the first column, words I already know. Those are ones you're familiar with, you've read before, you know the definition. Column 2, new words that I think I understand. You may not have seen them, you may not be sure, but there's some clues maybe in the word about what the meaning is, and you may think you know. Words I need to learn. Those are words or phrases you've never heard before. You really have no clue what the meaning of those is. Well, the next page, take a look at your next page. And these are the words, vocabulary words, that at the end of this lesson you should understand. Let's read them together. You can read along with me. If you don't know the pronunciation, you can just listen along, but I'd like you to point at the words as I say them on your sheet. The first word is global, positioning, system, satellite, signal, superpower. That does not mean like Batman or any of those cool guys. Next column, the Cold War, missiles, civilian, military, navigation, and maritime. Okay, I'd like you to take a couple minutes now and place these 12 words on your chart in the column that is appropriate. You figure out which one best describes the word and write it in that column. As we go along, we're going to add the definitions. We may add pictures if that helps you to remember the words and learn them. So take a moment now and complete your chart. Just put the words in for now. Okay, actually, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Let me go way back. I forgot something. So, let's figure out what words we might have put in different columns. So, Ted, can you tell me one of the words that you put in the column, words I already know?
Military.
Military, okay. Can you please tell me what you think military means?
Military consists of soldiers and sailors and defense for our country.
Good, yeah. People who protect a country, not just our country though, right? All countries have some sort of military. Yes, that's right. Good. Okay, how about next person? Let's call on Ben. Ben, can you give me one of the words that you put in new words that I think I understand?
Maritime.
Maritime. Okay. What does maritime mean, are you thinking?
Well, when I see the word maritime, I think the word marine, like marine biology. So I think of the water.
Oh, the water. Okay. Yeah, so maybe something related to the water, the sea, because of the maritime, marine. Yeah, okay. And mar in many languages means the sea, right? Okay, how about Ted? What's a word that you need to learn? You don't really have any idea at this point what it means.
The Cold War.
The Cold War, okay. That's what I suspected most students would put in that column. How many of you put the Cold War in that column? Raise your hand so I can see. Yeah, I figured all of you would. Because the Cold War is a period of time quite a while ago from your standards. You were not born yet and probably haven't studied about it yet in your history classes. But you'll understand a little bit about what it means after our lesson today. Okay, thank you. Let's go on now. Let's find out. GPS. Those letters you're probably familiar with, but what do they stand for? So the G stands for global. What is global? Well, we probably know what a globe is, right? It's the round bowl with the map on it of the world we can look at to get an idea of where countries are located and things. So the word global means worldwide or around the globe. The next word, positioning. Positioning means to determine the position of or to locate. Say I'm looking at this map of the world. I am going to find the position of Seattle. Or where is Australia? Australia is positioned right there. Okay. To locate something. The last letter stands for system. A system is a group of related parts that move or work together. Now that was a hard one for me to figure out an example of or a visual for you guys, but I looked at a lot of pictures online and decided that the Tinker Toys was a pretty good representation. It has many parts and they all fit together as a system. They work together. Okay, well, GPS was born once upon a time. It was created for government and military uses. Military, we know, is for soldiers and protection of a country. The main concern was conflict between the United States and the USSR. That stands for the United Soviet Socialist Republic. We currently call it Russia. Ted, would you please read the first bullet point for me?
In the 1950s and the 1960s, the United States and then USSR were in the midst of a time known as the Cold War.
Ah, that's one of our words. Okay. Ben, could you read the second bullet point for me, please?
Each was fearing the other might attack, and relations between the two superpowers became tense or cold.
Ah. And Ted, would you read the third bullet point, please?
These tensions and fears caused each country to race to develop systems that could help protect them from attack.
Great job. Thank you, readers. Well, in the 1960s, we started in the 50s, now we're in the 1960s, the government developed this system to help track the movements of planes and ships and missiles in order to prepare and protect our country from a possible attack. In the 1980s, things warmed up a little bit. There was less fear now of a missile attack, but in 1983, when a Korean passenger jet, that means there's just civilian peoples, moms, dads, kids, when it strayed into Soviet airspace, it was shot down by the Soviet Union. What were we going to do as a society and a world about something like that happening? Well, to respond to this tragedy, President Ronald Reagan allowed shipping and transportation to start using GPS. Now, they could know exactly where they were, so they would not stray accidentally into unfriendly airspace like that passenger jet had done. It was such a tragedy. In the 80s, they allowed some satellite signals to be used for other civilian purposes, but they kept the signals weak so that you couldn't find exact location very easily unless you were in the military. But after changes by several presidents, this one being Ronald Reagan in the 80s, Bill Clinton in the 90s, on May 1st, 2000, and that's a question on your worksheet, at midnight, the signal was cleared so that it could be used by everyone, and this is the term they used, for peaceful civilian use. That is all we have time for today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the uses you make today. You and I in businesses, military, all the things that GPS is used for. Before you leave, I need you to take the next sheet of paper that's on your desk, the exit sheet, and I need you to fill that out and pass it to me as you walk out the door. Thank you very much. You guys were great.